The 2002 D-era Ohio State quarter dollar. Imagine holding a simple 25-cent coin in your hand, a coin that millions of Americans touched, spent, saved, and tossed into jars without thinking twice. One single mistake at the Denver Mint in 2002, one moment of misalignment, one slip of a machine, could turn a pocket change Ohio State quarter into one of the most explosive and valuable modern errors ever discovered. And the craziest part, these coins are still out there. They're still hiding in old bowls, old change drawers, old coffee cans, waiting for someone like you to uncover them. The Ohio design celebrates the birthplace of aviation, showing the Wright brothers' plane soaring above the outline of the state with astronaut John Glenn in silhouette. With so many tiny details, thin lines, fine lettering, delicate outlines, this coin became a perfect storm for mint errors. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins in 2002, and anytime mint production hits high speed, the chances of machinery errors skyrocket. And that's exactly where the magic begins. Let's start with one of the most visually stunning types, the off-center strike. Imagine the design shifted drastically to one side, leaving a blank crescent of silver on the coin. A small off-center strike might bring a few $100s. But when you get a 40%, 50%, even 70% off-center error on a 2002 D Ohio quarter with the full date visible, the value explodes. These can easily sell for $1,000 to $5,000. And the most extreme examples. Massive off-center strikes with clear dates can hit $10,000 in the rarest cases, if one lands in pristine mint state with full luster and a dramatic off-center alignment. One of the most desired error categories in the entire state quarter series is the double die variety. These happen when the die shifts between impressions, creating doubled numbers, doubled letters, or doubled design elements. On the Ohio quarter, doubling can appear on the right flyer, on the outline of the state, on the lettering Ohio, or on the astronaut figure. Even minor doubling brings strong value. But bold, dramatic doubling, that's when the price skyrockets. A strong double die Ohio quarter from the Denver Mint could bring thousands of dollars, and if a major discovery piece appears something dramatic, large, and sharp, it could easily achieve $10,000 to $25,000. And if it's the first of its kind, unknown to collectors, never recorded before. That is how modern coins reach six-figure potential. Now imagine something even more dramatic, the blockage error. A blockage happens when a struck coin gets stuck to the die and then presses its mirror image onto the next blank planchet. The result is a coin with a ghost-like, reversed, deeply sunken double-face appearance. These errors are rare to begin with, but on a 2002 D Ohio State quarter, they are almost unheard of. A full blockage in high grade can bring $3,000 to $10,000. The 2004 D-era Wisconsin State quarter dollar. Imagine picking up a single quarter from your change, brushing off the dirt, and realizing it's not just a simple 25-cent piece. It's a coin that could change your life. You feel your pulse rise because you've just discovered a coin. It sounds unbelievable, but this is the reality for collectors hunting modern era coins. Hidden in plain sight, sometimes tucked in jars, drawers, or old wallets, these coins remain one of the most thrilling hunts in the world of numismatics. And this particular Wisconsin quarter has everything that makes a modern-era coin. The 2004 D Wisconsin quarter celebrates the state's rich dairy history, famously showing a cow, round of cheese, and an outline of the state. On the surface, it looks like every other state quarter minted by the Denver Mint, but its intricate details make it highly sensitive to minting mistakes. These tiny lines, delicate borders, and complex features are what cause errors to stand out so dramatically when they occur. The more details, the higher the chance that a small slip in the minting process will produce something extraordinary. One of the most visually dramatic error types for this coin is the off-center strike. These occur when a planchet slips slightly during the minting process, causing the design to strike partially off the intended center. Small off-center strikes are interesting but not extremely valuable. However, bold off-center strikes 30%, 50%, even as high as 70% misalignment turn the Wisconsin quarter into a collector's dream. Imagine the cow and cheese partially floating on the coin, while the state outline is cut off completely. Those extreme examples are rare, but when they are in uncirculated condition, values can easily reach $1,000 to $5,000. In exceptional cases, the most dramatic off-center strikes in high-grade condition can reach $10,000 or more, depending on the eye appeal and collector demand. Another highly sought-after error is the double die. On the Wisconsin quarter, doubling can appear in letters, numbers, or design features like the cow, the cheese, or the outline of the state. Even subtle doubling increases collector interest and value, but bold, dramatic doubled dies can be game changers. A Wisconsin doubled die in mint state can easily bring $2,000 to $10,000, and unique discoveries, particularly first known examples. Some of the most extraordinary and visually captivating examples of errors are brockage coins, where a previously struck coin sticks to the die and stamps a mirror image onto the next planchet. The result is a ghostly, reversed impression of the previous coin. On the 2004 Wisconsin quarter, a brockage error is so rare that collectors consider it one of the most desirable modern state quarter errors. A single brockage coin in uncirculated condition can easily fetch $3,000 to $15,000, and extreme examples with full detail could reach $25,000 or more at auction. The 1999 D-era Georgia State quarter dollar. Depending on the error. What if I told you that one single mistake at the Denver Mint in 1999 created some of the rarest and most powerful error coins ever discovered in the modern era, that one of these unbelievable coins could be sitting inside someone's wallet, purse, or old coin jar right now? This is the story of a coin that doesn't just surprise collectors, it shocks them. The 1999 D Georgia State quarter dollar is one of the most mysterious and valuable coins of the entire state quarters program. This was the first year of the series, and because of the insane pressure placed on the Denver Mint to produce millions of coins quickly, incredible minting mistakes occurred, mistakes so dramatic that some coins look like they were never meant to exist. The earliest states always show the most experimental test runs, the most die adjustments. One of the most valuable error types for the 1999 D Georgia State quarter dollar is the wrong planchet strike. When a quarter is struck on the wrong metal blank, the value can explode instantly. Imagine a Georgia quarter struck on a dime planchet. That tiny size difference means parts of the design are cut off. These can easily reach $1,000 to $3,000. Now imagine one struck on a nickel planchet that's a completely different composition. Those can bring $3,000 to $5,000. But the most heart-stopping examples are quarters struck on foreign planchets or leftover experimental alloy blanks. These are the mystery coins that blow collectors' minds, and if authenticated, they can reach $10,000 to $25,000, even $50,000 depending on condition. But the biggest prize of them all is the mule error. A mule is when two mismatched dies are accidentally paired. It creates a coin that should be impossible. Only a handful of mule errors exist in the entire state quarter series, but even the possibility of a 1999 D Georgia mule makes collectors tremble, and the wrong reverse from another denomination, it could easily become $1 million coin overnight. Then we have dramatic off-center strikes. Imagine looking at a Georgia quarter where half the design is missing, or the peach is pushed to the far edge. Even small off-center errors can bring $200 to $400, but 50 to 70% off-center errors with a full date showing? Those can reach thousands. And if the coin is struck off-center and double-struck? Now you're looking at $5,000 to $10,000. Speaking of grade, the 1999 D Georgia State quarter dollar becomes unbelievably valuable in high mint state. Even a normal, non-error MS-68 example can bring $1,000 to $2,000 at auction. With the same care as collector coins, if a dramatic error coin like an off-metal or double strike is ever found in MS-67 or MS-68, the value would explode immediately. Some collectors estimate that certain high-grade errors could break into the $50,000 to $100,000. The 2000 D-era Massachusetts State quarter dollar, a simple 25-cent coin that millions of Americans carried in their pockets. What if I told you that hidden among those millions are a few rare errors so shocking? Today we're diving deep into the mysteries, flaws, and minting accidents behind one of the most dramatic state quarter errors of the entire series, and trust me, once you hear what makes these coins valuable, you will never look at your spare change the same way again. The journey starts in the year 2000, when the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Massachusetts quarters as part of the young and wildly popular statehood quarter program. These coins were everywhere, handed out as change at gas stations, dropped into vending machines, tossed into drawers and glove boxes. But when you mint hundreds of millions of coins at high speed, mistakes happen. And in 2000, they didn't just happen, they exploded. Multiple dramatic errors slipped through the presses, and the Massachusetts quarter quickly became one of the most collectible state quarter errors in circulation. One of the most valuable varieties of the 2000 D Massachusetts State quarter dollar is the rare off-metal error. These are coins struck on planchets meant for completely different denominations like dimes, nickels, or even foreign coins. When the wrong blank slips into the press, the quarter dies strike it anyway, creating a coin that's instantly rare. Some 2000D Massachusetts quarters were struck on dime planchets, making them smaller, lighter, and missing parts of the design at the edges. Others were struck on experimental or foreign blanks, which is extremely rare and highly valuable. These off-metal errors can reach absolutely huge values. A normal quarter is worth 25 cents. But an authentic 2000D Massachusetts state quarter dollar struck on a dime planchet can sell for $5,000 to $10,000, or even $15,000 depending on grade. And in extremely rare cases, if the coin was struck on a more unusual metal blank, the value can shoot into the tens of thousands, pushing towards six figures when certified by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Then we have the dramatic double-struck errors, where the coin was struck twice, sometimes rotated, sometimes shifted, sometimes overlapping the first strike like a ghost image haunting the coin. These errors are visually stunning and easy to recognize. Some double-struck 2000D Massachusetts quarters have sold for $2,000 to $4,000, even $8,000 depending on how dramatic the strike is. Another major error for the 2000D Massachusetts state quarter dollar is the off-center strike. When the dies don't line up perfectly with the blank, but the really valuable ones are the 40% off-center and up, especially when the date remains visible. If the date is missing, the coin loses value because collectors need to verify the year. Have hit values of $1,500 to $3,000, and sometimes $5,000. One of the most surprising coins in this category is the 2001D era Kentucky state quarter dollar, a coin many people overlook but one that hides some of the most extraordinary and valuable mistakes in the entire state quarter series. Imagine opening an old jar of change, brushing off a dusty stack of quarters, and suddenly spotting a coin that looks just a little different. It might be one of those legendary errors that turn pocket change into life-changing money. The 2001D Kentucky state quarter dollar is part of the legendary 50 state quarters program, one of the most collected and most popular series in U.S. coin history. Over 700 million Kentucky quarters were minted in 2001, so the chance of finding something special in such a huge population seems impossible. But that's exactly where the magic begins. Because the more coins that are made, the more likely it is for the mint machinery, dies, and presses to make mistakes. And that means hidden treasures slipped into circulation where they slept unnoticed for years. One of the most valuable types is the off-center strike, and the 2001D Kentucky quarter has some of the most stunning examples. A small off-center strike might sell for a few $100s, but when you get a massive 140%, 60%, even rare cases approaching 70% off-center, the value explodes. These aren't just coins, they are minting disasters frozen in metal, and collectors absolutely love them. A 2001D Kentucky quarter with a bold off-center error in high grade can reach, and extreme examples paired with full visible dates can push even higher. Some error specialists believe the right combination. A struck-through coin happens when something like cloth, wire, grease, or even metal fragments get between the die and the planchet during striking. The result? A distorted, ghost-like crater or indentation that makes the coin look like a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Add the fact that it's a 2001D Kentucky quarter, a coin already beloved for its design and heavily collected, and you get a combination that collectors go crazy for. A dramatic strike-through in mint state can easily bring $2,000 to $10,000, and extreme cases that distort the entire face could hit $20,000 or more. Wrong planchet errors, which collectors consider the holy grail of state quarter mistakes. Imagine a Kentucky quarter accidentally struck on a dime planchet, or a steel blank, or a foreign coin planchet that slipped into the Denver Mint's machinery. These errors are unbelievably rare and incredibly valuable because they combine two forms of rarity, a wrong metal and the Kentucky design. A Kentucky quarter struck on a dime planchet might sell for $5,000 to $15,000, depending on grade. A quarter struck on a foreign planchet could exceed $20,000 to $30,000. And one of the rarest possibilities, a wrong metal planchet with a full date and mint mark intact, could become a showpiece worth $50,000 or more at auction.